These are 8 lessons that made me $1 million by 20 years old. And they cost me $1 million because I made and lost my first $1 million by 20 years old. And if I would have learned these earlier or had someone to teach me these things, like I'm here teaching them to you right now, I could have learned them the easy way instead of having to lose $1 million to learn them. So my goal is that this video helps you learn them the easy way and not have to go through all of that yourself. And I hope it is very helpful for you. The first lesson is, when you're a kid and you feel like you should help someone, or you feel like you should pick up that piece of trash, or you feel like you should stand up for that kid that's being bullied, but you think, oh, what if I don't look cool because of it? Or what if I get bullied too? Or what if I get made fun of? And you think it's not cool to go help that person? Well, the first lesson is that the coolest thing you could possibly do is help others. And for some reason, as kids and as adults even, everyone, for some reason, thinks that it's not cool to help others. They think that you're going to be judged or that people are going to look at you like you're not cool because you go out of your way to help someone. And I've learned that the coolest thing you can possibly do is help others. Even if people make fun of you, even if people look at you some way, it doesn't matter, because the people who are judging you for helping others are not people whose opinions matter. You care about the opinions of people who are doing good in the world and who you want to be more like. And if they're judging you for helping others and leaving a positive impact on the world, you don't want to be like them. So it's okay, it doesn't matter. You don't need their opinions anyway. The second lesson, also when you were a kid, do you remember not trying too hard at something because you didn't want to look like a try-hard? There was always that kid that tried way too hard at everything. And everyone was always like, oh my gosh, here's a try-hard. It's just basketball, bro. It's just recess. We're just playing tag. You don't need to go that hard. And yeah, I get it. Sometimes kids would go overboard and they would play freeze tag like it was tackle football. But at the same time, trying your hardest and doing your best is never something to be looked down upon. You should always pour your heart and soul into everything you do, and do everything with every ounce of your heart and soul that you have. And that is the second lesson. Pour your heart and soul into everything you do, because there's no such thing as trying too hard, and you'll never look stupid for trying your best. When you truly try your best and you pour your heart and soul into everything you do, if someone judges you for doing that, or thinks you're trying too hard, or makes fun of you because you try your best and you fail, that person's opinion does not matter. The only opinions of people that matter are people who you want to be more like, and no one who you want to be more like should ever judge you for that, because none of us realistically want to strive to be someone who is negative and a downer. We all want to be the best we can possibly be, and no one that is ahead of you and knows what it takes to succeed is going to judge you for trying to succeed, because they know what it takes. When you truly try your best and you put 100% effort into everything you do, the people whose opinions matter see that and respect that. And that's something that I had to learn the hard way. Now, you remember when you were a kid and you would fall and scratch your knee and you just bawl your eyes out. It didn't even hurt that bad, but you were crying, so sad. What was it for? Why were you sad? Was it because it hurt? No, because we don't cry now that we're older when we get hurt. We scream because we're in pain. But when you're a kid, it's not just the pain, it's the emotional aspect. Why? Because you think it's gonna last forever. When you scrape your knee, you think it is some new permanent thing. You scraped your knee and this pain is never gonna go away. It's never ending. And so it becomes an emotional thing. And that's the problem that so many people face, is they think everything is forever. They think the good times are forever and they think the bad times are forever. And they overstress and overthink every situation. And what I've noticed is that nothing is forever. The great times are not gonna be forever. You are very happy, you are enjoying your life, and you're having a beautiful day. Guess what? The day will eventually end. So enjoy the day while you have it. Don't let that be a pity party. Don't make that, make you sad. Just enjoy the day while you have it and be present in the day that you have. And if you're having a terrible day, or you're in a terrible period of your life, maybe you're struggling financially, maybe you're struggling emotionally, maybe you're going through a breakup, maybe you're going through a hard time with your friends and your family and your career, and you're not sure where you want to go, you're lost, you feel empty, you feel confused, you feel like you have no purpose. It doesn't matter. It's not going to last forever. You are in a very temporary phase, which is helping you unlock the person you were meant to be. And every phase that we go through is so that we can unlock the person that we were meant to be. God has a perfect plan that He has created for every single one of us to turn us into the person that we are meant to be. And we cannot skip that plan. God will put us through what we need to go through to get to where we need to go. And God has designed that plan to work out perfectly, even if it means we have to go through some pain and some hard times along the way. You remember when it was a really, really hot day out in the summer and you grabbed a metal pole for the first time, or you touched the stove after it was turned off, but it had just been on, it was super, super hot and you burned yourself? Or maybe you ran your hand under water that was way too hot and you burnt yourself. All of these times you burnt yourself. But every time you did it, you realized ow, I just burnt myself. I probably shouldn't do that again. You made a mistake and you learn from it. And as a kid, we make a lot of mistakes because we have a lot to learn. And so every time that we do something new, the chances of us making a mistake are very high. But every time we make one of those mistakes, we learn from it and we realize that, wow, maybe I shouldn't touch this metal pole when it's super hot outside because it's freaking hot and it burns. And then we don't do it again because we learn our lesson. And so this fourth lesson is that the more you fail and the more you make mistakes now, early on in your life, the better, because you will be able to grow much, much more and have much more experience later in your life. The more mistakes and failures you have now, the more mistakes and failures you'll be able to avoid later, and the more knowledge and experience you'll have down the road. So if you're in your 20s, don't worry about being a millionaire and doing everything perfect. Focus on making as many mistakes and having as many failures as possible, because the more that we can fail right now as kids, when we're in our teens and our 20s, the more set up we will be for the rest of our lives. I would rather fail all of my teen years, all of my 20s, and by the time I'm 30, I have made so many failures that I have an unbreakable foundation, which is what I'm working on doing. And in the process of making those failures, I also have had lots of successes and continue to have successes, which is awesome, because that means no matter what, you're not going to have unlimited failures. Just go out of your way and try to learn and try to fail and put yourself in the position to fail. And as long as you actually apply yourself and learn from the failures, you will also succeed. So fail as much as possible, learn as much as possible, and grow as much as possible, because our foundation is built on failure. Every time we fail, we learn and we grow and we improve and we get a little bit better. Do not be scared of failing. Failing is the prerequisite to success. Failure is not a definite outcome. It is a prerequisite to getting to the definite outcome of success. You remember the first time your best friend yelled at you and said that you're not their best friend anymore? How did that feel? When you were a kid and someone yelled at you, just said, you're not my best friend anymore. I hate you. I never cared about you anyway. I don't ever want to see your face again. How does that make you feel? Or if you said that to your best friend, how do you think it made them feel? And how did you feel afterwards? You probably realized, wow, I didn't actually mean that. I wish I wouldn't have said that. I just got upset. I was angry. I let my emotions get the best of me. And as children, we lash out with our emotions. We don't know how to control them very well. The problem is most people never learn how to control their emotions, and they always keep saying things like that. They always say things that they don't actually mean. And so this fifth lesson is to always think before you speak and act. Do you truly believe in what you're about to say or do? Does it truly align with what you believe in deep down inside your heart? And does it truly align with your core values and your core beliefs? Because if it doesn't, why would you say it? Why would you say or do something that doesn't make you a better person, help the people around you, and bring you closer to your goals and closer to God? It doesn't make any sense. But for some reason, we still let our emotions get the best of us, and we still do it all the time. So think about that time when you were a kid, and either you heard your parents yelling at each other, and maybe your mom or your dad said to the other one, I never loved you, or I want a divorce, or something like that. And you're like, wow, I can't believe they would say something like that to the person that they're supposed to love. And think about the time that you said something to your best friend, like, you're not my best friend anymore, or your best friend said that to you. And think about all the times that someone has said something out of pure emotion to you and hurt your feelings and just made you feel terrible. And that feeling is not a good feeling. So don't be the type of person that goes and does these things and says things that you regret, and says things you don't mean, and does things you don't mean. Because it doesn't just have to be to other people. This is also to yourself. When you're speaking to yourself mentally, in the gym, when you're working out, when you're working, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, when you're thinking about your body and you're thinking about your mindset, and you're thinking about the way that you work and the way that you live, and you're downgrading yourself and insulting yourself, saying, oh, I don't look good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not fast enough, your eye color is wrong, or like, I'm not tan enough, I'm not fit enough, whatever it is. You can be honest with yourself. I'm not saying lie to yourself. If you need to get in shape, but don't tell yourself that you are not something, or put yourself down, or say that you can't do it, or keep degrading yourself, because all that does is make you feel worse about yourself. Same thing with your actions. If you want something, if you want to get fit and you want to get leaner and you want to lose fat and gain muscle, or you want to make more money and you want to run a successful business and you want to be able to make money online and travel the world and do whatever you want and earn money through purpose, then think before you act. Do not go and hang out with your buddies and go out for a night out and get drunk if you're focusing on building your physique and building your business. If you want to be healthier, you want to be stronger, you want to be leaner, you want to make more money and make money with purpose, why would you go out and do something that is taking away from your purpose and not helping you get closer to either of these two goals. So every time you make a decision, whether it's a thought or an action, ask yourself if it's going to bring you closer to the goals that you have set and bring you closer to yourself internally and closer to God. And if it's not going to, then don't do that thing. Only do the things that you know are going to help you be the best version of yourself. That is my way of thinking. Imagine if you had one unique coin. There's only one coin like this in the entire world, and you can never recreate it. You can never get another one. You are the only person with this one coin. And then there's these other kinds of coins where there's hundreds of trillions of them in the entire world, and they are very abundant. There's many ways to get them, and everyone has them. But it's also something that everyone wants. Would you take this one coin and trade it for a couple 100,000 of these coins that there's trillions of? Probably not, right? This one coin is your health. It is your body, it is your soul, it is your spirit, it is your purpose. These hundreds of trillions of coins is money. This is dollars. There's hundreds of trillions of dollars in the world, and you only get one body, you get one soul, you get one life, and you have one purpose. And that purpose is decided by you, and you get to keep that purpose deep in your soul and deep in your heart and work towards it every single day. And for some reason, a lot of us will give up that purpose and give up our health and give up our body so that we can have a little bit of this money. And we can never replace our body. We only get one body, and there's nothing we can do to fix it once we break it. We can work on rehabilitating ourselves, but if you allow your body to deteriorate and you don't care about your soul and you don't care about your spirit, you don't care about your health, you can never buy more health. You can never buy a new body, but you can get more money. There is a lot of money to be made in this world. So don't trade your one unique coin for coins that have hundreds of trillions of other ones in existence, because this one unique coin is you, and you are unique, and there is no one like you. There's no one with the life that you have, no one with the soul that you have, the purpose that you have, or the spirit that you have, or the reason for living that God created you for. Only you can fulfill the reason for living that God created you for. And in order to do that, you need to be the healthiest you can possibly be, the strongest you can possibly be, having the most purpose you can possibly have, and being in touch with your soul. If you get rid of that and you sell your soul for a little bit of money, then you lose sight of what God created you for. And that can never happen because there's only one of you. God created you to be you, not to be someone else. And money can be earned through many, many, many things. And the best way to earn money is by doing it with purpose. So this lesson is to never trade your health for money, because if you do, you will eventually have to pay it back. You remember the first time you ever went to the gym, the first time you ever went on a run? Remember how hard it was, how painful it was? You just wanted to quit the whole time. You went to the gym and you're like, I do not understand how people enjoy doing this, or how people show up and do this basically every day. It seemed unfathomable to you. The amount of pain that you were going through was intense and immense, and you felt like there was no way you could keep doing this. But now, you might be someone that goes to the gym every day. If not, that's no problem. You can start doing that today. You can start going to the gym now, because eventually it gets to the point where it's not that bad. But there's always something in life that you've done one time, and it was insanely hard. And then you did it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And it got less and less hard every single time. And it's not because it got less hard. It's because you got harder. You have the ability now to go through hard things because you've endured hard things, and you've trained yourself to be okay with that. And the more hard things that you endure, and the more hard things you go through, the easier they all become. But their level of difficulty is staying the same. You are just improving the level of difficulty that you can manage. And so the seventh lesson is to do hard things, because when you do hard things, like going to the gym or working hard and cutting out vices and getting rid of distractions in your life and doing the things that may not be easy on the front end, they may delay your gratification a little bit. They may be hard at first, and they may be hard right now. But in the end, down the road, they make your life so much easier, and they make your life so much more enjoyable, and they bring you things long term that will benefit you and your family for a long time to come. If you decide to skip the gym, that will feel easier right now, but later in your life, you will be unhealthy and you will not like the body you have, and you won't be able to play with your kids, and you won't be comfortable taking your shirt off on the beach. You will just feel bad all the time, and that is going to be very, very hard. If you skip work and you know you need to be building your business, you need to be working on your business, but you choose to skip it, and you're like, I don't know, I don't want to work today. That will be easy. That will be very easy today, but tomorrow it will be hard because you'll have more work that needs to be done. And in 10 years, it will be hard because you will still be working a job that you hate, doing something you don't want to be doing, earning a small amount of money, not being able to take care of your family, not being able to take care of the people around you because you didn't do the work that needed to be done now. Doing the hard things now makes your life easier later. Doing the easy things now will make your life harder later. So do hard things because they make everything else easier. You remember that kid you always wanted to be like in school? Maybe he was super athletic, maybe he was super smart, maybe he was fast. Maybe he was charming. Maybe he just had a way with talking to all the girls. Maybe he was able to talk to the girl that you wanted. You're in 4th grade and you got this girl and you want her. You're like, oh my gosh, this is the girl I'm gonna marry. You know, like for 4th grade, the first girl you ever see, you think you're gonna marry her. And there's this kid that goes and talks to her and he's just so smooth. And you're like, I just wish I was that kid. Guess what? That kid feels the exact same way about someone else. And that someone else feels the exact same way about someone else. Everyone wants to be someone else when they compare themselves to others. So stop comparing yourself to others and just be you. Be okay with being you, because the only person that can change who you are and where you're at in your life is you. And if you actually want to make any difference, don't compare yourself to others, just change who you are. Not trying to be someone else, but being a better version of yourself, because only you can change that. And by looking at me or looking at anyone else and being like, oh, I wish I was more like this guy. I wish I was more like him over there or her over there. It doesn't benefit you at all. It doesn't benefit them at all. And it doesn't make the world a better place. But by looking at yourself and saying, how can I be better? What can I change? How can I grow? How can I improve? How can I unlock the best version of myself? Because you're not trying to become someone else. Because you're not trying to become someone else by becoming a better version of yourself. You are shedding off the layers of the person that the world has piled onto you and tried to make you think you are. You are shedding off those layers to reveal the true person, the true man or woman that you were meant to be, that God created you for. Revealing the true core in your heart. And what that is, finding that true core in your heart takes a lot of pain, a lot of time, a lot of progress, and a lot of inner looking at yourself and figuring out who you want to be and how you can improve and how you can grow, and pushing yourself through those things. And when you compare yourself to others, or when you judge others, when you think, oh, I'm better than this person, or I'm worse than this person, it's never going to benefit you. Because either you're comparing yourself to someone who's in a different chapter of their life than you, with a different purpose than you, and a different direction that God gave them than you. And if they're in a different chapter of their life, they might seem like they're ahead of you, but they are just in a different chapter and you aren't at that chapter yet. Or you have a completely different book and you will never have that chapter, because your chapters are going to get much, much bigger, much, much faster. You're just in an earlier chapter. Or you look at someone and you feel like you're ahead of them and you're doing better than them. But in reality, you're just in a different chapter than them, living a different story than them. And by thinking you're better than them, you're not making yourself any better, because you're now holding yourself to lower standards. And that person, they might have a different purpose than you. Maybe their purpose isn't as big per se. You know, they might not want to be the most jacked version of themselves. They may not want to be extremely wealthy. And by comparing yourself to them and thinking, oh, I make more money than this person, I'm more fit than this person, I'm better than them, you are lowering your own standards. Because what if you are meant to be the wealthiest and most fit person in the entire world, and you're comparing yourself to the person who's supposed to be the best mother in the entire world? That has nothing to do with being the wealthiest and the most fit. She is going to be, obviously, she needs to be fit. She needs to have enough money to take care of her family. She needs to be fit so she can set a great example for her children. But what she really needs to be is caring. She needs to be a great leader. She needs to be there to nurture for her family and for the children around her. And what you need to do is much different than that. You need to build amazing businesses and lead a team, not lead a family. You need to nurture a team, not nurture a family. And so your skill sets are going to be different. Where you're at in life is going to be different. You're going to look different. And by thinking, oh, I'm ahead of this person, you're only making yourself worse, because you're pulling away from the purpose that you were destined for and degrading them when they are doing the exact purpose they were created for. And if you, again, look at someone that looks like they're ahead of you, they might be ahead of you in a different realm. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the more failures and mistakes we make early, the more lessons we learn, the better foundation we build. And if you feel like you're still failing and making mistakes, it doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're creating your foundation so that you can win and you can succeed and you can grow insane amounts in the future without falling over without a foundation. If you're looking at someone who, for example, take this as an example. I made $70,000 a month when I was 17 years old. I was 17 making 70 grand a month. Made my first million by 19. I also lost all of my money at 19. And at 19, I had $0 to my name. I actually had a negative net worth. I had like negative $15,000 to my name when I was 19, when I had been making $70,000 a month at 17. And if someone would have looked at me when I was 17 and they were in their 20s, they might have thought, wow, this guy's so far ahead of me. He's only 17. But in reality, when I was 19, I had negative net worth and I had no money. And so now I have the experience from that. I have the lessons, I have the failures, I have the mistakes that have built my foundation to be better. But those people that were looking at me thinking that I'm ahead of them, little did they know 2 years down the road, I would be on paper behind where I was. And the thing is with life is it's not linear. It's constantly growing and evolving and changing and flowing and going with the ebbs and flows of life. And you have to always find ways to grow and improve outside of just on paper, because Life is about lessons, it's about failures, it's about stacking experiences and growing your character. You are upgrading your character every single day. You are your own video game character, and you get to build that character. How do you build a character? Through experience points, through lessons, through failures, through mistakes. And every time you make a mistake, every time you gain experience, you get a little bit better and you collect more knowledge. And by collecting this knowledge, you are able to grow and build a better foundation. Because if you make millions of dollars, but you don't know how to use the millions of dollars, there's no point in having it. It says in the Bible, why should you give money to a fool to buy wisdom when he has no sense? And that is very true in life. I made a bunch of money as a fool, and I could not buy wisdom with it because I had no sense. And so I lost all of that money, and God took it from me. And God showed me and realigned my path as to where I need to be going. And I'm very grateful for that, because if that wouldn't have happened, I don't know what would have happened to me. I could have got very, very lost, and I could have done terrible things and had no direction in life and felt empty for the rest of my life like I did when I was making that money. So I'm very glad that I lost all of my money and now have the ability to make money doing what I believe in and what I love, and with a sense of purpose, because I love working every single day and building the business that I'm building and helping others and truly leaving a great positive impact on the world and building my team and loving the people around me and just leaving a great and positive impact on the world. That makes me happy and it fulfills my purpose every single day. And I now make more money than I made before, doing what I love, doing what I care about, and helping others, leaving a great and positive impact on the world. And I am forever grateful that God stopped me from going down the wrong path and realigned me, even if it felt in the time and in the period that it was happening like I was moving backwards or like I was less ahead than I was before. Because now I can see clearly that all I needed was the experience, and I needed God to show me the correct path, because otherwise I would continue going down the wrong path and I wasn't getting any further ahead. I was just getting further and further and further away from where I needed to actually be going. So those are 8 lessons that made me $1 million and cost me $1 million by 20 years old. If I would have learned those lessons earlier, I could have made $1 million a lot faster, and I would have been able to keep that $1 million without losing it. And I hope that these lessons are very helpful to you and help you to make millions of dollars and help you to live a better life and be a better man for your family, for your friends, for the people around you, for your business, for God, and to fulfill the purpose that you were created for, and to be able to earn money through purpose. Because I think all of us should be earning a lot of money and living the lives we want to live and leaving a positive impact on the world and being able to help people with the money we earn. I think the best way to earn a lot of money is to do it through purpose and do it by helping others. I think the best way to live your life is to greatly help others and earn great wealth by doing that, and use that great wealth to greatly help others. And it becomes a never-ending cycle of positive growth, leaving an amazing impact on the world and fulfilling the purpose that we are created for. And I hope that this video helps you do that in some way.